Welcome to our webinar about the future of search and specifically how backlinks, mentions, and building a brand play into it. Very, very excited to have you here. My name is Viola. I run a company called Flow Agency, where we do digital marketing for B2B companies and tech startups. And today is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, which is the question of what happened to backlinks. How come everything changed in the last 2 years, and what should we be doing now? I think there is a lot of people talking about this. There's a lot of people yelling about this right now on the internet, and we thought it's a good time, the end of the year, to talk about what's really working these days and what you should be planning for 2026. Very sweet. All right. And we have a few of our Flow folks here in the comments as well. We have Clement saying hello. We have Megan calling in from Berlin, and Helene, of course, she's up on the screen as well, calling in from Slovenia. Should I just dive right into some introductions? Yeah, I think I said that. Viola, based in Berlin, started Flow Agency about 7 years ago, which is why this webinar is particularly exciting, because people always think I'm the first person at Flow, which I suppose is technically true, but there's actually a handful of people who have been at this agency since day one as well, and that is Boban and Angela. Actually also one of our writers who writes our guest post for backlink and mentions as well. And so today you're basically getting the OG Flow crew and the people who have shaped the agency and the business as we are today. And so if we want to pop into the next slide, one of our speakers today is Boban. He's our outreach manager. And again, he's leading all the things that we do for outreach, for link exchanges. And then this year, he has really leaned into all the good stuff for AI search. Some of our listicle tactics are grounded in him. And we call him the international man of links because of the international recognition for the work that he has done. But we also call him our director of merch because he also runs everything. If you ever received a Flow t-shirt, pen, or sticker, that's also Boban's work. And as of this year, he's also the creator of a bunch of AI workflows and tools. And so very excited for him to be able to share today what he's working on and what he's learning. And then our second speaker today is Angela. Same like Boban, has been at Flow since day one. And she is managing a big part of our outreach and backlink efforts because she's managing the entire content machine behind it, the guest posts that we're creating. And then she's also really leaning into all things community, collaboration, brand mentions, partnerships, and the good stuff that comes from there. And so with that, I will hand it over to Boban and Angela to walk us through the session today.
Thank you, Viola. Welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to host and be part of this first webinar from our side about link building, especially in the era that we are now with all of the changes, the new AI way of searching, and like we are here to show some hopefully tactics that you can everybody use and implement on your site. So first of all, we're gonna start with some history details. Basically, we built around 6,498 backlinks by now since 2021. What does that number? Sorry, Angela?
Actually, it's 6,562.
Okay, yeah, great. So yeah, the numbers are fluctuating, and actually we are a two-person team, so that made this happen like since 2021. And maybe Angela, you can also continue about this and share some more insights.
Yeah, sure. And I think what's exciting and very unique about our team is that we have completely different skill sets. So Boban and I work together like as a true team, and the fact that we can jump in and help each other out, but we both have our own strengths, so that if you put us together, we really make one perfect link building machine. So we have 25 clients per month right now that we're building links across. And the good news is we have personally used and verified every single strategy that we are about to show you today.
Perfect. So, what will you learn today? Basically, we're gonna cover, and we're so glad that you asked. We are covering, let's say, few out of many things that we are doing as a tactics, but I think for our webinar here, we are good with starting with this. So we are going to go with the 3 pillars of the modern link building. We're going to talk about how we can improve your LLM visibility. Nowadays, probably one of the most important thing. We're going to talk about listicles, tracking, and reporting about backlinks. Angela.
Also going to talk about how to use those expert quote platforms to get not only leaks, but brand mentions, which are increasingly important in today's world. And we're going to learn why guest posts actually matter and how you just don't want to throw some content up online and leave it and forget about it just to get a backlink. And we also want to talk about how thought leadership in your communities for collaborations and all sorts of other things are really the backbone of what we do here with our link building processes. And there's a lot more too, but that's just a sneak peek.
Thank you. So next, some data about our backlinks. You can see here that majority of the backlinks from back in the days were built as guest posts. So, and that is still valid, but we're going to show through the webinar that you can adapt to different changes on that. And I would say that this distribution is changing rapidly. So you can see now different tactics here that we, let's say, adopted and started using for our clients. So we have networking, we have partnerships, we were doing the outreach. We are still adapting those tactics on our end. Direct link exchanges, listicles, that is a new thing that we're gonna talk a little bit more on that. And actually this part of the digital PR queen, talking about hero, featured, quoted, and a lot of different placements, which we managed to get our clients in. And also there's an image here talking about the validity of the backlinks. I would say we can stand against it, and we have some interesting details to show going through the webinar. And yeah, looking back, we all know, and we're gonna say, yeah, what actually happened. So maybe like some moment of silence about the old link building tactics. So are they going to be missed, or we need to definitely just reminiscence about these things? So back in the days, we were doing like mass cold email outreach, like I don't know, filtering 3,000 emails in order to send this without any warming up, like ending up in some unfair email link swaps, like asking the other side is asking like 3 links in return for 1, or maybe, I don't know, Angela, you could also add some.
Yeah, I've got a lot, but just a few is someone came up with this great idea to make a quote template and use it for everything. So you would send in hundreds of them and they would all look the same. So that didn't work out very well. And then there were those Facebook groups that would pop up that like promised that you could trade links back and forth. You could give each other guest posts, and yeah, things got shady pretty quickly. And
yeah, things were
Bobin,
shady. Right?
or should I call you Emily?
Yeah, those great times. Yeah, so back in the days, we were actually creating these fake personas of persons that just don't exist, and like we were expecting some results. It was happening, it was like working back in the time, but going through time, you just actually need to be the person that like stands behind that email. So whenever someone searches for Emily Woodman, it just ended up like a random person, and basically like the conversation stopped there because they immediately had the trigger on. And yeah, we were adapting. It was 2021 and like learning some stuffs, and yeah, we were racing to get like media queries and placement, just to keep up and get the targets filled out. So
But Bobin, I personally think you made a very good Emily.
it was good, yeah.
Yeah. And then there
And
was just, it was like this recent hysteria and volatility with building links. I mean, link building definitely has seen calmer days. It was just, help a reporter close, and then it made a comeback. Yay. And Bovin, there were like all of those SEO floods.
absolutely, yeah. It was like this parasite SEO, like people found the glitch, let's say it, in the search, and like started posting a lot instead of focusing on their own blogs, on their own content. They just like started posting like crazy on, I don't know, like Medium, Reddit, Quora, even like attaching fake response in Quora just in order to get that backlink. So I don't know. And then the sites basically were full with like spammy backlinks. I know that a lot of spam algorithm updates came out of that. Google just punished everybody about that. A lot of websites just went cold, zero visibility. And actually, Angela, like AI came and
Yeah,
changed everything, right? So I think what
everything.
it,
Everything. Yeah, I mean, literally, it was like we were here and AI, it just came in like a wrecking ball.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what happened. You can cue that music playing in your head. I know you're all
Mhm.
hearing the song. And then, you know, AI's relationship with backlinks became something that people were like innately afraid of. And that was really crazy because we have to understand the LLMs. We have to prepare to pivot. We have to adjust those old workflows. We have to create new strategies. And I mean, bottom line, Bobin, I mean,
Yeah,
where's
I agree
AI
completely.
going?
Oh, AI is not going anywhere. So
Yeah.
basically, we need to talk about it. We need to adapt our tactics, and that's where we're gonna start going deeper into this webinar. So I'm gonna start, right? Angela, did you want to say something, or
No, I'm ready to go.
are you
Let's
ready?
do
Okay,
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna start with talking about from what we have decided or like set as a pillar of the modern link building. So, and basically that goes with alongside with our results, and how did is what are the three main pillars that we are going on. We are talking about valued partnerships, so not just like transactional one partnership or just like it happened and it stopped. Basically, a partnership that are long lasting throughout the years. We are going to talk about community collaboration, and that's like our second pillar. It means your network is acting as a content co-creators of people, so you basically can reach out to your community can help if a help is needed about building some backlinks that are like different niche out of your, let's say, ICP. And then we can talk about authority signals, and that's the mentions and the backlinks that actually fit these LLM results and also the traditional results, to be clear. Uh, then Angela.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the show has to go on, like they always like to say. And we can't just give up on building links. We can't let the spam take over. The bots can't take over either. we can't allow them to have full reign on everything that we do here on search. We have to jump in and find ways that we can make a difference and turn the tables, toward the strategies that we're hoping to fulfill. And I think the bottom line on all of this is we can't wait, because you can't let your competitors take the edge. So, you guys ready to build some links? So, the main thing is you have to start with a solid foundation, as with anything. If you're building a house, we've all heard the analogy of if you build a house on a sand, what's going to happen? It's the same when you're starting to build links. So let's talk about content for just a quick second. You have to create those articles that are just absolutely begging people to link to them. You have to invest in something of value so that other people will actually look at what you've created and say, wow, that's amazing. I probably can't do that any better myself, so I'm going to link to it. Don't be afraid to break out of the box. Always be yourself, be authentic. Even though you're working for a brand, always put your unique personality into whatever you're doing, and be sure you tell a consistent story. If you're talking about a brand on a blog, on social media, or anywhere else that the conversation may be happening, stick to the same principles.
Love that. Also, let's learn what to avoid, please.
Yeah, so these are some other aspects, of course. We always start with the positive first, but if we're going to avoid some things, when you're looking at your pages, you don't want to have any big ads or pop-ups to discourage people from trying to go through and read. We've all went to that page where you're trying to get to a point and you've got 10 pop-ups, and finally you're just like, never mind, this is just not worth it. I will ask ChatGPT and see what they say. So we definitely don't want to send any of our business to ChatGPT. So you also want to remove or update old articles that you have, any old media. Just give it a brush up or decide that maybe it's time for something new. And those spammy sites that maybe weren't spammy 5 years ago, you have to make sure that you don't have those links on your pages anymore. And if you're linking to some irrelevant content, if you did a backlink, it's changed back in 2019, and for some reason you have an article talking about building IKEA furniture, it's got to go. And those big walls of text that you may come on and see, yeah, nobody wants that. They just don't. So you've got to break up that text with something interesting, images, some type of media. But yeah, even, I mean, look what we did with our slides. Even some bullet points help.
Love that. Perfect. And yeah, I'm gonna also cover, like, let's talk about what's changed in 2025 by now. So currently we can see that some stuffs are in a declining mode, and that means there's a statistic that in 2021 the reply rate of cold guest post pitches was around 24%, and now currently it's around 8% or even lower. I would go with that. Another thing that is declining are the generic outreach templates. Basically, dear sir, Leonardo DiCaprio sending you emails about backlinks and so on. The link exchanges, I would say, like the direct link exchanges are in the declining mode, because also that's a part that Google also can penalize, and like just people stop doing it. And another big thing is one-off transactions. Like you basically, that is all along different other things that are declining from the old tactics. And let's say what's rising currently. Currently, I would say the expert quote platforms are definitely in a rise. The partnership building links from our side, it's absolute rise. And in 2025, we actually built some quality partnership-based backlinks. Community collaborations. So people just, let's say, move out of sending this cold email outreach to Slack communities, to close communities where other in-house SEOs are, other link builders are, basically keeping it low spam or zero spam in order to get these relevant backlinks for you. And very interesting thing is the strategic listicles are, let's say, back in the game. They are actually in a high rise, and if there are any other link builders like me into the chat, you can definitely confirm that. But I would say from my perspective, I see a lot of requests about these listicles, and also a lot brand mention campaigns. So you can see basically people are more focusing around the brand itself, not just getting, I don't know, insane amount of backlinks. And we can talk more about this. What
And
does
I'm not
this
gonna
mean?
lie, I really loved getting those emails from Leo.
All right, they were,
Who
yeah, they were
doesn't love a
unique.
good email from Leo?
This is, yeah, Elon Musk and pretty much
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
the
Those
big
were the
names.
days.
Yeah, they are into off-page a lot. So yeah, even they're not talking about it, but yeah, we know the secret. And what we're gonna also talk, what does that mean? So now with the LLM, with the new era of search, this requires some lots more new ideas of for getting these backlinks. So what does that mean? So there are like three again pillars, let's say points that you gotta follow. Is strategically thinking, you gotta be the source. You gotta create content that actually these AI models will reference, will show as a result, that will bring some the quality content means bringing more quality backlinks into it. You gotta be mentioned in the source. That's something that actually we didn't thought about back in the days, and now we are like actively thinking that we need to get cited where other competitors are, where we can see the AI knowledge is basically learning from, as showing as a result. We gotta be in there, so we gotta change the ideas and tactics in order to, you know, get that backlink, but not on a 50 websites, rather that on one important website. We also got to think about replacing the source, and that means that if there's a, I don't know, for that our target keyword website that is already ranking for that, we got to actually, you know, win that with a lot more relevant backlinks, with a lot more better content than them, and actually win this placement in the next update of the knowledge base of this LLM AI tools. Also, we are, you can see that we basically made a chart out of analyzing the GA4's referral traffic of 20 clients, B2B SaaS. And you can see the rise, the line is actually going further up. So since 2024, it tripled the traffic coming from LLMs and the AI chatbots. And that means, imagine what will be the number 2 years from now and going further. This means we gotta be on the train like since the beginning, not actually running for the train throughout the time. Then we're gonna cover what does that mean to be the source, to create citable content. That means you gotta create original research data studies, you gotta create comprehensive industry guides that are actually your niche, you gotta create case studies with real numbers and data, you gotta think about thought leadership on emergent trends in your industry, maybe build out some tools and calculators that will actually be of usage of your potential clients or the people in your industry. Basically, the goal is to create the content that is going to be so useful that just the others cannot, you know, cite you. Basically, they will need to cite you because you are going to be the source of that data. Be mentioned in the source. What do we mean with that? Actually, you gotta be talking about a lot more expert quotes from your side. You gotta be on this, let's say, among these other industry leaders. You gotta talk about your knowledge about that. So you gotta be in featured, hero, quoted, and a lot of more different services. You gotta be actually in a lot of listicles in your industry. Also, not just like in a top 25 and you be the 25th position. You gotta actually try to be in the top 3 or number 1. You gotta actually work on industry roundups, podcast guest appearances, quote contributions to journalists, that something that we're going to cover. So this means that we need to treat these opportunities as for links as PR opportunities, not just like the link building. So that's another way to adapt to the new reality of LLMs and AIs and the world that we are living today. So that means that actually a backlink and mention, we are not talking about different things, we are talking about the same things. What does that mean? Back in the days, the traditional backlink could improve just your page rank value, could improve your position. You could be shown as a number 1 position, but maybe not. The brand mention today also works towards that. So it can help you with the recognition, and like having both of these things, like the backlink and the mention, just adds to your value and to your brand visibility overall. So if you want to work on that, you got to think, even like the mention, it's a great thing to have, even if you don't have this hyperlink going towards your website. And here, yeah, Angela, I think.
Yeah, I mean, now we're gonna really hit into modern backlinks. We're gonna ask ourselves the questions: what are we really after? Which strategies will get us there? And what do we need to understand when it comes to this process?
Yes, perfect. I think the next slide is probably one of my favorites because it talks about the partnership link building. And for me, that's like beyond link exchange. It's actually, I have a network of people, which some of them are already in this like print screens, some of my favorite working, partners. There are a lot more, sorry, I didn't add it, but it's a throughout the years we build like a partnership community which you can reach out whenever you are let's say you have a new client you need to adapt to them. You got to show immediate love with showing some quick backlink wins, also totally relevant, industry based. You are just in the safe area. You just play it safe by not hunting into the invisible like fog out there and just waiting for that backlink to come. Other options is that can be done are through integration partnerships, through marketplace listings, to doing like co-marketing campaigns like webinars, joint content events, and so on. So these links are definitely of high value. They are not just like a backlink, they represent like real business relationships. So that's super important from my side to nurture and follow throughout the years. Next, we're going to talk about how we can actually improve this visibility of our brand. And this is, from my perspective, and from Flow Agency, I would say back in the days was you have your own homepage, you have your product pages, you have your blogs, maybe a YouTube channel, some G2 listing profile that you made it starting, Crunchbase profile, your LinkedIn profile, and it was all that. And you basically forgot about those listicles, about those review sites that you just created when you were starting, let's say it like that. And now this era of AI came, AI search, and basically you are represented wrongly, and that hurts the business. So what we want to think today is about expanding this digital footprint, and you can see clearly we are now talking about a lot more stuff. So not just like the Crunchbase profile. You gotta check the mentions in the listicle. You gotta work on forums and user-generated content. You gotta think about media appearances, about digital PR, a lot more bigger picture than before. So, and that's where also the backlinks play a huge part in getting you this updated and expanded digital footprint. So I'm gonna share some tips about how you can update your digital footprint. You can start through the core, basically start updating your website, your blog content, updating your social profiles. That means going even like Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, basically every social profile that you have, even like the Glassdoor profile that you have for job adverts or anything that basically covers your brand. Then you gotta update the review sites. We gotta talk about updating the vendor profiles of your site, like basically the bigger one, G2, Capterra, Trust Radius, I don't know, software advice, and so on and so on. You gotta think now about adding your website, adding your homepage to a lot of listicles. That means you gotta improve the mentions across the web. You gotta update your app store product descriptions. You gotta audit what everything already exists about your brand and start building out before you start building out new digital footprint. And there's a perfect example that we were working on before. This is like a case study about one of our clients called BetterWorks. They were known before as an OKR software, and they switched their positioning and wanted to be known as a performance management software. And basically, when the era of SGE, the AI overviews started rolling out, you could see that when you type what do you know about BetterWorks or just the brand name, they were showing as an OKR software. So in the next slide, we have this previous results. This was how they were showing in the generative AI. This is so old now currently, but this is how they were shown. And what we did, we went out and we first audited everything. We tried to find their review sites, their listicles. We updated G2, Capterra, Trust Radius, and so on. We just looked through every directory, social profiles, even the backlinks itself. When we were carefully adding or asking for new backlinks, we were trying to, shift from OKR software to performance management software. And then they found and we found one source. So basically what we did is we reverse engineered the results. We tried to search every result that generative AI and AI were showing, and we found one article that was from TechTarget that were mentioning that they are like an OKR software, and we reached out to them, and actually you can see after a pretty fast time, they started showing as a enterprise performance management software solution. They throughout every platform, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Claude, and the others. Now, quickly about the importance of the homepage backlinks and what does that mean. So we need to understand that currently, I've been talking a lot about the importance of the homepage backlinks in the team inside. So I wanted to move and position at least a big chunk of the backlinks to a client going to the homepages. And why? Because actually it showed through the LLMs love homepage backlinks. Homepage link from a relevant listicle or an expert roundup definitely is a big signal that your brand belongs in that conversation. Your brand belongs in that niche that you want to be, that you are targeting. The homepage typically has also the highest page rank internally. The most referring domains go to the homepage, to your brand, and represents your brand core identity. And also this homepage link reinforces the connection between the brand, what you are, and the niche and the topic that you want to be also shown into and represented as. Also, Angela, you can add something here, I think.
Yeah, the important thing to remember too about homepage links is that you have to get really creative with this because they just don't work in guest posts. When you're adding a link to a guest post, you have to be linking to something that's going to create value to that post. It has to be a reference. You have to be going to a cool graph, something that people can go to and actually add to what they're reading. And because that doesn't work in guest posts, we found that listicles and quotes just embrace the whole idea of linking to the homepage. And the really cool thing is you don't have to choose between the brand mentions and backlinks when it comes to the homepage because they just work together as a unit. So you or your client, it's a win-win. You're getting double. You're getting two things for your one bit of effort.
Yes, I agree. And that's where we're gonna, and why we are embracing the listicles and why we are talking that they are like the underrated link gold. So why? Because they average they have like a long lifespan, bigger quality authority. Listicles have huge organic traffic. They are potential they actually can be the part where your clients are going to come from. So probably a person when is searching the listicle, it's going to see the top tools. So they are already qualified. They can, they are in a phase where they do the research about the softwares and they are in the deciding phase, maybe, and they can actually decide to go on with your software, your whatever you are going to sell. And basically they have this longevity, so they are probably one of the best backlinks that are going and delivering the results. So here we quickly going to go to this screen and show that we are already through some AI tools like PKI, ZipTie, we are already following those listicles to see how our client is positioned, is he mentioned or not, how many times this listicle has been used as a result, citations. So basically this gives us like a clear picture of whom should we go to and outreach or try to negotiate or even like set a placement for the client itself in order to be more mentioned here and bring more visibility to the brand itself. The process, so it's a little bit longer, but you can see there are like 3 phases: the data collection, the manual audit, and the prioritization. So you gotta think about your 4 to 5 core transactional keywords. You gotta search the keywords on the SERPs, on the search engine results. You gotta basically categorize that, do a deep listicle audit and see which listicles are a good fit for you, which are not. Try to add more data to them to see how they are and how much they are shown into the AI results and the AI tools. Basically, the whole process needs to be like crafted, and then you end up creating an opportunity matrix. You end up with a potential, I don't know, 20 listicles that you need to target that are high priority that you want to be featured in, or you need to update those listicles to be the improved source now for your readers or clients and so on. Quickly here, there is a big correlation what we talked today and a great study that Kevin Indig and Semrush did. There is a link here. We're gonna also share it in and afterwards too. So this shows that there is a big correlation and that the more authoritative the sites are, the more the backlink helps itself. The link quality is not so important as the link relevance now, and that's super important. That like people were just forgetting about. They were building like 50 backlinks back in the time. I think now with 10 relevant, you can get even better results. And also some important stuff that Angela could add is the myth about the nofollow attribute that was going throughout the years. Angela, do you want to add something here?
The big warning here is I've noticed this, and if you haven't, friends you're going to, because people love a good spam, watch for those sites that are trying to charge for the do follow links. There have been some sites that I've partnered with for like 5+ years that now when you upload content to their site, you get a little pop-up that asks you if you want to spend an extra $100, or not extra, like a lot of these sites, these aren't like paid sites, but now they're trying to charge you $100 to make your link do follow. So if you haven't seen this yet, make sure that you keep an eye out for it and understand that it's just not going to do anything extra for you or your client.
Yes, I agree on that. And maybe just add something for the end of my part of the presentation. Basically, you need to check if those links are still valid. You gotta check if the domain range or authority changed significantly throughout the period. Post algorithm updates, checks, and basically we are trying to improve the quality of the backlinks and the longevity of the backlink itself. So we also vibe coded an AI tool that is monitoring our backlinks. So currently, like with just a button, we immediately have live, lost, and other statistics through that. And lastly, we could just add to this that if we were like tracking before like our domain rating and referring domains, basically now we need to adapt and think about the mentions, the brand mentions, the link lifespan, the traffic quality that comes from that. Are there any conversions, and so on and so on. So probably this is like a big subject in another webinar, but from the let's say this part, we can move to, sorry, yeah, pretty much this is something important. And Angela, you can take over from here, please.
Yeah, so building authority with links is something that we hear a lot, and it's very top of mind. But the thing to always remember is it's not always about who you know, it's about who knows you.
Completely agree.
So
Thank you.
yeah, so moving on with this whole idea, expert quote outreach. This is something that has been going on for so long. I remember setting alarms on my cell phone to let me know when the new helper reporter out emails were coming out, because I wanted to get those answers in first. And of course, though, it's come back. The nice folks that featured have decided to take it on. And we also have sources from Peter Shakeman, who originated Help a Reporter Out. We have Coded, we have Source Files, we have Help a B2B Writer, and probably some that I've missed. But this is just a quick overview of some of the platforms that I currently use and other people have also recommended. And then moving on from this is, so before you get started with using expert quotes, this is something that I feel is just fundamental. You want to jump in, you're excited about this. It's something new. It's like getting that new toy, under the tree for Christmas, but you have to read the instructions, or it's like playing a new board game. You didn't read the instructions, and then you have to stop halfway through because you've messed the whole thing up. So you've got to get the client buy-in before you even get started. You have to establish trust first of all by showing your expertise. show some successful results, things that you've done for other clients, so that they can, kind of get a sneak peek of what they can expect when you start working on expert quotes for them as a client. You have to explain the process and the platforms, but try not to overload them with details, because understand, if they could do this themselves, then they would do it themselves. They really just want to be able to find someone that they can trust, who can take this and do this for them and support them and their values as a company. And that's kind of where establishing boundaries comes in. You have to know the things they don't want to talk about, the things they do want to talk about. And you just have to have that trust. And to do that, you have to really prepare. You have to do your part. You have to perform your research. You have to create a content folder with all the goodies. So if you look at my desktop right now, which I would not suggest, it has a little folder on it that says impersonators. And this is where I have files on everyone that I do quote outreach for, because in a way, that's what you're doing. You're taking on the person that you're representing, and you're going online, you're finding places where they've been quoting, you're finding articles they've written, and you're trying to understand their voice and the things that are just really important to them and to their company. And after you do this, then the best thing to do to get that client buy-in is to show some examples of real queries that you would respond to on behalf of them, so they can give you some feedback. Maybe you give them some feedback after they give you the feedback, and you work together to come up with a style and a voice that works for both of you. And you just let them know what they can expect over this, but never oversell or promise. I've heard even in talks, somebody say that they can get onto, let's say, SOS, and get links in 2 days. Don't do that, please, friends, because when it comes down to it, you want to be realistic with this process. This process takes time, but once you get it going, those links just begin to snowball in. So it's a really beautiful process, and if you can't tell, I'm super excited about it. So when you're getting those placements, the way I see it, there are really only 2 ways that I would suggest to ever do this. You can take approved content from your client about things from which to draw your responses. You can make a nice quote library. You all can work on this together, can be a collaborative effort. And this also is a way to help you kind of bond with your client about doing this. Make this fun. This is something that you're working on together. It's not something that you're doing for them. It's something that you're working on together to achieve these results, because you're both going to be so excited about it. I don't know that there's anything happier than to wake up in the morning and find out you've gotten clients placed like in G2 or Forbes or something crazy like that, HR.com. It's just a super excited feeling for everyone involved. And it's like a big party, and that's one way to do that. But the one that I really, really like is when you finally get through this process and you prove yourself to the client, and you get that freedom to really just blend your voice with the clients and respond with full advanced approval. And this again is you're going back to that quote library that you've put together over the past couple months, say, and now they're like, okay, we trust you, you're ready to go, just go out and reply to these queries. And I think that's a really good feeling when you get to that point. But the main thing is to always work toward what's best for the client. If you have a client who really just wants you to stick with the things that they've already said and done, go for it. You can always come up with unique spins and ways to take something maybe that was quoted 2 years ago and turn it into something that fits into what's trending and working today. And then from this, if you ever hit this moment where you're just wondering, why are the journalists ignoring your submission? Did they take a picture of you on LinkedIn and put it above their desk and say, never, ever, ever quote this person again? Probably not. But what you could be doing wrong is pitching generic AI written content. I'm all for using AI as your helper, almost like your intern to help you do some research and to get things going. But you have to also think that for a journalist to want to pick up your quote, it has to be extremely unique and extremely tailored to their company and to their voice. So where you can kind of maybe lean a little on AI, you still have to go in and humanize it and personalize it and make sure that it's ready to go. And journalists love to see something that's copy and paste. They get that email or they go onto the feature platform and see it. All they have to do is go and copy paste, drop it into their article, and they're ready to go, because these people are on deadlines. We all know what a deadline is like. So you don't mess with the journalist's deadline. You make sure that everything is absolutely ready to go for them. Don't forget to include all the details they need, because they will not write you and ask you what your LinkedIn profile is. They will just skip over and delete your email. And you need, that's what you need to give them everything up front, because you don't want to create a situation where there's a lot of back and forth between the two of you, because again, they'll move on to someone who has their entire act together. And don't editorialize so that they stop reading. You don't need to repeat the question to them. You just need to give them the answer. Oversell yourself instead of the response. You want them to say, I'm going to make sure that I take a note of this person, because I may reach out to them again personally through an email about, the next article that I'm writing. And that does happen. And when it does, it feels freaking just incredible. So also, don't pitch too late. If you can, respond to those queries as soon as possible. But one other trick that I'm going to even let you in on, because I'm a nice person, is if you find yourself where you think you may fall into that middle ground, maybe even do it at the last minute, because then you're at the top of their email list rather than somewhere stuck in the middle. So you're welcome. And then,
Awesome.
and then moving on, I talked a little about AI, but I have found one thing on a platform so far that I feel like I can really invest in. And this is the platform Featured. They currently have something in beta. And from their own words, because I couldn't make them any better, it identifies relevant opportunities and drafts personalized answers so that you can contribute more insights in less time. So these queries, now make note, are from journalists and media who will accept things that are powered by AI. So the only way that you will find where it's okay to use AI really on the feature platform is in these AI Featured that they have currently in beta. And I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what the Featured AI looks like. And here is where the magic happens. This is like, I looked at this and I felt like this was Willy Wonka opening the doors to the chocolate factory and saying, everyone come inside, look, this is where we're going to do something super cool. You can go in and create your own knowledge base right here on the Featured platform. So you can upload articles that you've written. You can upload places where you've been quoted. You can even upload your LinkedIn post. And this will basically aggregate all of this information, and it will use it to come up with responses to queries from their clients that have approved this AI assisted answering process. And it's really good. It really works. I feel like it knows me. I feel like it's spying on me somewhere in my office, because it knows these things about me that I have put into the knowledge base. So the cool thing about that is that you can basically curate the way your client wants to be seen. So I was talking earlier about those quote libraries from clients who only want to use things where they haven't actually been quoted for before. Well, boom, you pop that in here, and it's not going to come up with anything that you haven't put into this knowledge base. So this is just brilliant. It's genius. But here's the caveat. Even though it may come up with an answer that I think is just really in the pocket of where I want to be, I'm a writer. I can't help but tweak it. And I really suggest that to everyone else too, is that you just don't want to use AI ever as a finished result. You know, you can always go in and make it better because you're that good and you know it. So just do it, do the work. And then, although I could talk about featured all day, please, anyone, send me messages. I'm so excited about that tool that I will talk about it forever. But we have to move on to guest posting because, as my slide says, it actually matters. And you have to cut through the spam with value. So just remember, we're not talking about 2019's guest posting. We're not posting anywhere about anything. We're not cramming keywords in. Passwords, that would be crazy. What would we just put passwords in the guest post? No, don't do that. I didn't mean it, I promise. So we're posting to a site now that will get better over time. Whereas in the past, you know, it's like you could post to a site, it had a domain rating of 60, maybe 3 months later, you look at it, all the traffic is gone. The domain rating has dropped to 41. You're like, what happened? And then you're in a panic. You go on, there's no traffic. You can't even get the guest post off of the thing. So you're kind of stuck. So I feel like now with the new Google algorithms, and they're really doing us a favor. I know sometimes we may get a little aggravated with it, but we need to know the sites that are worth posting to and the ones that aren't. And adding a backlink that just doesn't fit to try to get a backlink, it's just not going to do it anymore. So what we're doing today for guest posting is you always have to think about quality over quantity. You know, just because you have 10 guest posts, they will never ever replace that one guest post that you land on G2 because we've done it. And creating content that is of value is just so important. You can't just write something that you know that you can fit a link into and hope that people will actually read it, because we're not just guest posting to get links. We have a lot of guest posts that are getting crazy amounts of traffic. And I'm not saying that to brag about it. I'm saying it because I'm proud of it. And I think it's something that we can all do, you know, just write something good. You know, but you've got to keep it professional, and you post content that people actually read. And when you're trying to get onto those high level sites, submit, multiply that times 200, just keep going, because they're going to eventually see the value as long as you're offering value. Build a list of sites where you can contribute regularly. And if they and when you post, they have to fit the client. So just be sure that you're looking at the categories and the tags that are offered, and make sure that the content is working into that. And you can also pay attention to LinkedIn and your favorite communities for new opportunities for guest posting. You don't have to go into those shady, scary Facebook groups anymore, I promise. And then to wrap things up, because I know we're getting pretty close to time, but there's no way that we can leave this webinar without talking about the value of community. So please, everyone, just give us a couple more minutes, because you're going to love this. If you're doing this right, okay, you can find collaborators that you can work with. They're just waiting for prospects. These are partners that you're not just in this for a one-off backlink that you work on together. When you look at it that way, I promise you, you're leaving at least 10 to 20 backlinks on the table. And isn't that just insane? This is what we're all doing. We're trying to build backlinks. Why are you going to walk away and leave a stack on a table? You know, they're just there. They're waiting for you. You just have to approach this in a way that you're working together, because that is what we're all doing. Other people who are building backlinks, they are not our competition. And the sooner we realize that, then the more effectively we'll all be able to do our jobs. Because, you know, we're all learning from each other. We're all learning strategies that inspire us. These aren't opportunities where you owe someone something. You're working together in a partnership, and these people actually care. And in this whole process, you're developing and promoting yourself as a thought leader. People will trust your brand if they trust you. You can have the best brand in the whole world, but if you're going online and you're doing a bunch of weird, shady backlink strategies, they're not going to trust you. And therefore, then they're not going to trust your brand. So a good way to establish this is to stay active on LinkedIn. I don't mean just post yourself. I mean, genuinely go on there, read other people's content and comment on their content. You know, when you get an idea, when you have a thought, don't just keep scrolling, you know, actually engage, because that's what sets you up as a thought leader and shows your own expertise. It also helps the person where you're commenting, because again, we're all in this together. Also respond to the calls for quotes that you see, even for yourself, you know, to build up your personal brand so that then you can help your company build up their brand as well. Don't turn down opportunities, take part in surveys, do all of the things, because they all add up and they will all establish you as a thought leader. And at the end, always say thank you. I know if you've got a lot of emails coming in, sometimes it's easy to skip over someone doing something nice for you, but you always have to extend that thank you, because when you say thank you, then you can say, okay, so what's up next? What are we doing next together? Because in the end, it's all about these partnerships, the collaborations, and the community that we all build together. Everything else really is just a dead end link. And who wants that?
Yes, completely agree on that. So probably, yeah, we are over time, but yeah, read the slide. And as we talked, backlinks are of a great value. We need to create those lasting partnerships, as a lot of things Angela covered here. So thank you also. I think we are good with any questions.
Yeah, we do have some questions. We
Perfect.
got a lot of great ones. I don't know if maybe we just want to save them and you guys can record a video. We can share it with everyone, not to keep everyone too long since we're over, but I saved them in a doc. So yeah, we can send out a recording of this along with bonus content of you guys. But thank you everyone for joining. Please do reach out to Angela Bobin for any questions you may have. And thank you so much for sharing your expertise. We will share the slides and the recording with everyone. So thank you.
Thank you very much. As you can see, we can talk about this all day long. So please connect with us on LinkedIn. You can check out, like she said, some of our content, but we'd love to continue this conversation, and we'll be back to answer all of your questions. And it's going to be fun. So make sure you click the link when you get it.
Thank you again. Thank you all, and see you on some next webinar too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.